We got breaking news out of the NBA where Kyrie Irving's season is now over. ESPN reports that Kyrie tore his ACL in that left knee in last night's loss. Take a look at it here against the Sacramento Kings. It's another huge blow to the Mavs, who already are missing Anthony Davis. Of course, Dereck Lively and Daniel Gafford due to injury, not to mention trading Luka away. The Mavs are 4-8 this season without Kyrie in the lineup, and that will be the rest of the way. They head into Wednesday's game against the Bucks when it comes to 10th in the West and a play-in spot that might be in jeopardy. More on this, want to bring in our John Gonzalez. And, of course, I mentioned there, John, that the Mavs might be in trouble now that you're losing the pulse when it comes to Kyrie Irving, the last star on your roster with all the other injuries. Your reaction to this news?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely in trouble, Brandon. They're in 10th spot. They're just 3.5 games up on the Suns, who have not exactly acquitted themselves well this season. They trade away Luka Doncic, and it feels like, depending on your mileage on what you feel about the basketball gods and karma and that whole bit, this is not, the vibes are really bad in Dallas since moving on from Luka. And, independent of that, Kyrie Irving was having a really great season. He was an all-star. He was buoying that team. He was trying to keep them above water while Anthony Davis recovered. You mentioned that they're really thin in the front court. No Daniel Gafford, no Dereck Lively, likely for the rest of the regular season at the very least. So it's going to be awfully difficult for them to keep their hand and their grip on that play-in, because they really just don't have any warm bodies to play basketball.
If you're looking at this, of course, they're also raising prices, so that is a no bueno there when you're talking about the Mavs. Look, since Christmas, they've had a problem. I mentioned the injuries, of course, Luka saying bye-bye, and now Kyrie. You mentioned that 10th seed, maybe not the strongest hold on that. Where do they go from here the rest of the way?
I don't know, fingers crossed, they burn some sage. I don't know what they're going to do here, because you've got the Suns, who, again, they have not played well. They almost traded away Kyrie Irving. They've got the whole Bradley Beal contract issue. On top of that, Devin Booker is reportedly warring with his head coach. And all of a sudden, just 4 games back of them, the Portland Trailblazers, who have been plucky this season, have a nice group of young players who are just learning how to win. They're on the come, too. So if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you're looking around going, man, we don't have Kyrie. We don't know when Anthony Davis is coming back. I mentioned all the front court players that you don't have. I don't know what they do here. If you're Nico Harrison, you had your ideas on why you wanted to move on from Luka Doncic, and one thing is not necessarily connected to the other, but nothing is working out for Dallas right now.
Just put in perspective what Kyrie kind of meant to this team, because even once they said bye to Luka, they still felt like at least they can maybe get to a Western Conference final, assuming that Anthony Davis was healthy. But what have you seen from his involvement here this season before this injury when it comes to Kyrie?
Yeah, Kyrie's been fantastic this year, and I think part of the reason why Nico Harrison was willing to move on from Luka Doncic, in addition to all the concerns about Luka's health and diet and conditioning and all that, was that you had a guy in Kyrie Irving that you think is a superstar in this league, has been a superstar in this league, and that would pair very well with Anthony Davis. That was the hope, right? That you'd have that two-man game, and hey, this might be better on the aggregate. Moving forward, Kyrie Irving was in line this offseason to get paid pretty handsomely. Now, all of a sudden, an ACL is not the end of the world, but it's also something where it's going to give you pause and make you at least think about how much money do we want to invest to a guy in his 30s, coming off of an injury, and when will he be available? So Kyrie went from having a really great season and the Mavs being hopeful that he would be the leader of the franchise moving forward, to now all of a sudden a lot of things being up in the air for both of them.
I mean, there's a guy at Duke right now, and he would be nice in Dallas, called Cooper Flagg. We'll see if they move closer to that when it comes to the lottery. But if you're Jason Kidd here, what do you do? Because where does the offense come from? We've already mentioned the missing pieces, and Jason Kidd, he's had times in his career when he struggled to find that offensive guy or juggernaut. What does he do moving forward, at least the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, shot creation was a problem even with Kyrie Irving. When they moved on from Luka Doncic, everybody looked around at pre-trade deadline and went, well, they've got to get another shot creator, right? Because it's basically just Kyrie, and then it's like sometimes Spencer Dinwiddie. Now it's sometimes Spencer Dinwiddie and shoulder shrug. I mean, it's a great question. I guess you're going to beg Max Christie to do a lot of things for you. Klay Thompson isn't the Klay Thompson that he used to be. He'll have to get more involved. There aren't any answers here that are any good if you're Jason Kidd. This is going to be one of those things where you're going to hear a lot of next man up, and we're going to do it by committee, and we've all got to dig in, and all the coach nonsense that you hear, the platitudes and the bromides that are thrown out during situations like this. But ultimately, they're sunk.
For a team that was in the Western Conference Final not too long ago to now where they are now with more brutal injuries, how are we kind of shaping what we saw with this season for the Dallas Mavericks? You know, what would be the conversation once the season is over?
The conversation when it's over is, okay, if you're outside of the organization, you're going to hear a lot of, this is why you don't trade Luka Doncic. Inside the organization, it's how healthy is Kyrie Irving and how healthy is Anthony Davis? That's the whole ballgame, really. I mean, all the peripheral pieces that you're going to put around them. Again, Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall and Max Christie and on down the line, that's really just window dressing, right? It's those two guys. How healthy are they? If they're healthy, if Kyrie Irving can recover from his ACL injury and play the majority of the season next year, and if Anthony Davis, who has had his own injury issues throughout his career, can come back and be healthy, then you've got a chance to at least not only be relevant in the Western Conference, but maybe win a round or two. I was always kind of skeptical about their chances to be Western Conference contenders with this group. So really it redounds to Nico Harrison has work to do. You got to hope that those guys are healthy, and then you got to get them some help.
They're 32-30, and in the last 10, they're 5-5, and lost the last 2 when it comes to the Mavs, holding that 10th seed there. John Gonzalez, as always, appreciate your time breaking down the breaking news of Kyrie Irving.
Got the evens, Lou the odds, go.
All right, that means I'm starting off with number 10, and this is quite possibly the hottest team in the NBA. 9-1, the last 10. Detroit Pistons, number 10. Possible Coach of the Year, JB Bickerstaff. Stud, Cade Cunningham. Love what they're doing. No matter what happens in the playoffs this year, this team is for real, and they're going to be around for a while.
Okay.
I could even make a case that they can be lower on this list, but I like them at 10. I like what they're building at 9-1. So at number 9, we're going to go with the Houston Rockets. Houston was supposed to be top 5 Chandler. They were there all year this year. A little slippage, some of that inexperience in youth is starting to come out. I need them to refocus and get back going with basketball. So at number 9, I got the Houston Rockets.
I love it. Number 8, we all know how much better they've been playing with the addition of Jimmy Butler. They got Kuminga now coming back. They kept their core at the deadline. I think they're the big winners of the deadline. They're going to continue to be one of the better defensive teams. They're going to be a mismatched nightmare for teams in the playoffs. Steph Curry's coming off a big-time game in Orlando. I like the Golden State Warriors at number 8.
I like it. I like it. I'm vibing with that. At number 7, we like the New York Knicks. New York Knicks landed themselves at number 7. They can't compete with the top 2 teams, man. They struggle with Boston. They struggle with Cleveland. We've been on record and talking about what they've been able to, how they've competed against those teams. So for that, you got to factor in the Western Conference, got to factor in the East. That lands New York at number 7 on the power ranking.
Number 6, another weird one, is the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think it's because the start that they had was so good. When they're healthy, they're unbelievable. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost the last 3 games on their buzzer beaters, but Jaren Jackson continues to defend. Desmond Bane had a big game last night. They got to get Ja more consistent, but they're deep. They're getting a lot from their rookies and Wells and Edey, so I like them there. I think they could be a little lower towards the list, to be honest with you, but I think 6 is pretty solid for them right now. They just got to pick it up, and they've had some heartbreak the last 3.
Pistons look like they could have definitely been moved up, Lou. Go on.
Yeah, now that we're running through the list, I could have seen the Pistons probably landing around that 6 or 7 where New York and Memphis is, but they got another shot at it. We'll do this again soon. At number 5, we like the Denver Nuggets. Now, when you have Nikola Jokic, that always gives you an opportunity to win games. But right now, teams are starting to guard Russell Westbrook a little funky. Jamal Murray is starting to wake up a little bit. But because of that, I just don't know. They're not going to beat one of the 4 teams that's before them. So I like them landing at 5.
Number 4.
Here it comes.
Your own Los Angeles Lakers, Michelle. The best defensive team in the NBA right now. Obviously, you had a guy like Luka. They're versatile. They're deep. They have all these active wings. They can really defend, guard, switch everything, guard 1 through 5. They're healthy. I'm really surprised. I'm shocked. They're 38-21. It's been a hell of a year. Can't ask for a better year for Coach J.J. Redick in his first year. They're going to be another tough out. I like them right now at number 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Why is your energy dropping off? Get it up there. Come on, buddy. Let's go.
I'll bring it back.
And we got to give JJ his credit, man. We had criticisms at first. He's a legitimate coach. Give him love. At number 3, we like none other than the Boston Celtics as the champions from last year. They're landed at number 3 because Cleveland is playing better basketball, obviously, in the Eastern Conference. But I also feel like they're in that position where they're kind of laying dormant. They know what they want to do. They know they have an identity. They know that they're defend first, 3-point shooting basketball team. They're going to wake up on Cleveland as this season go on. But at this moment, I got Boston at number 3.
And by the way, this is just power ranking of what it is right now. Like, I still think the Celtics
So it's not in
the
some
Cavs in
okay.
a series, but right now I got to go Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 50-10. The addition of DeAndre Hunter, I think, is going to be the sneakiest, best trade deadline move outside of Luka. He gives them exactly what they need. He gives them another wing defender to when they do face the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. He's one of those guys that can guard Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and make it a nightmare for them. So Cavs, there's no denying. They're unbelievable. They're deep. They can shoot. They defend. Great guards, great bigs. They have it all.
They have it all.
And we got back-to-back number 1, Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been the most consistent, best team in the league. We took the training wheels off. We're not calling them a young team no more. They are a legit contender for the championship to compete against whoever's going to come out of the East. They're going to put a lot of pressure on the Western Conference. This is led by MVP favorite SGA along with Jalen Williams. Chet is back in the lineup. They got a lot of different guys that can play a lot of different positions. They check all of the boxes. They got guys that can defend and score at a high clip. For that reason, they are number 1 on our power rankings for the month of March.
Would either of you gentlemen like to take a little bet with me that I don't think the Thunder nor the Celtics are coming out of their respective conferences?
I think it's like Lakers, Cavs.
I think it's, yeah.
LeBron back.
All right, let's do the bets.
LeBron back
no
to
Celtics,
Cleveland.
no
in the
Thunder?
finals.
No, I don't think either one of those. Just think about it. Yeah, we'll come up with the terms.
I thought about it. I'll take the bet.
Okay, well,
Surprise.
terms to come. Quick break. We'll be back on the other side.